I've not really been in Thai boxing that long yet to discover my fighting style, but up to now I've matched my 2 opponents, so maybe that says for the future that I'm going to be able to adapt to different opponents. Like the first time he come out straight away wanting to clinch, we out-clinched him and we got the knockout win. The second fight on the SuperShowdown, he just wanted a brawl and we out-fought him. So in the gym I'm different every day because I'm watching different fighters every day. One day I'm wanting to be on the back foot, use my left kick only, and I work on it in the gym with the boys. And then the next day I'm looking to box my way in and get in the clinch. So it's just who I fight will bring out the best in Sheridan at certain styles and stuff. So it's all to come yet.
So how did you get into Muay Thai?
Funny story actually. I think it was a Wednesday evening. I just kicked the bag and put it on my Instagram as a joke, and I was like, I think I said like, watch this space, or having a bit of a buzz. And my mate Kyle rang me, he said, do you want to fight this weekend? I said, what, in boxing? Or, because I just had a fight that weekend in boxing. And he said, no, Thai boxing. He went, 71 kilo, do you want it? I was like, yeah, go on then. I said, I don't know what I'm doing, no. So we done 1 round of pads. He was like, you'll win this. So I was laughing and stuff, didn't think anything of it, turned up, and we got a knockout on the fourth round knockout in Wigan. And then since then I got the buzz off kicking. I'd never done it before, and just done little bits at little gyms and stuff, but I was always the fat kid in the corner. I never really got any attention to. And then from there I joined his gym, and we had 2-3 fights on there, and then I'm at Kearsley Muay Thai.
So were you boxing as a young kid?
Yeah, well, I used to. Where I grew up, you've got to fight to fit in. There's a lot of lads there, and to fit in, lads are always arguing, you've got to fight, and if you can't fight, then you push to the side. So I was always in fights growing up. That's the only thing I was ever in trouble for fighting. And when I was in school, there was an older lad who was like year 11, when I was a year 7, and he started on me, and then I had a fight with him and I won, and my PE teacher was like, get into boxing, trust me, get into boxing, you better get into boxing. So I did, and I boxed for about 4 or 5 years, and then I made the switch to Thai boxing then.
Where did you grow up and what was it like?
It's Newton Heath in Manchester, just not far from the town centre, and it's good, everyone knows each other, but you've got to have the respect or else you'll be a pushover. You've got to fight, again, you've got to fight to get in. Everyone either wants to be the best footballer or the best boxer. That's it, there's nothing else. So if you're not the best footballer, you go down the boxing route, and you've got to fight to fit in, because everyone boxes. So it's like, who's the best, who's going to beat who. And all the amateur boxing shows in Manchester, it's just like a local derby. Everyone goes crazy. It's such a big sport in Manchester, and that's really where that comes from.
And you definitely bring that with you to the event, everyone chanting your name. What does that local support mean to you? I remember saying when I was 15, when I'm older, I want a crowd where it's all the same people. I'm looking at the ring, I see the local lad who's got nothing with different types of backgrounds. So you might get a working class with someone that I meet in college or someone that I meet through work, and all my people that are there that you see screaming and chanting, running in the ring on SuperShowdown, they've all been there since nursery, they've all been there since primary school, high school. They've seen me go from fighting on the parks to fighting in stadiums, and the reason why they're so behind it is because no one else really does it where I'm from. Everyone fights on the street, everyone can fight, but no one really takes it to that next level and does something like I do. So all the local support, everyone's just buzzing off it, and this title fight that's next, everyone's got a real buzz around it. I can feel it, it's good. You do come across as supremely confident with that, but what part do nerves play in your preparation? I've learned
to master my nerves, to be honest, because when I first started boxing, I was 14, I had 1 or 2 fights, and I was bringing a massive crowd, so I was like a bit timid and stuff, and then one of my mates put across the law of attraction to me, and I started laughing to him. I was like, no way, and then I read into it, and I read books in it, and that's when like you master and you say things and you believe things, and the nerves really get brushed away by hard work. And I'm scared to get beat. That's where losing, it's not even an option. I'm scared to get beat, so I'm up at 5 in the morning training. I'm here with Pitt, and he's pushing me, and on the last fight, it was a bad camp. In the gym it was perfect, but everything that could have gone wrong outside the gym was going wrong. Injuries here and there, and Pit got me and I was a bit nervous, I was panicking, have I done this right, have I put that right, and I was going overboard, and he brought me over and then he reminded me of the hard work that we put in, and then again that law of attraction, it puts it into place and the nerves go out the window. It's a good nerves because it is the hard work, it is the horrible nights. When you're out in the bright lights, it's like you're free.
At SuperShowdown, talk to me about the build-up before that fight and how you're feeling.
So I come off a big win in August. It was a really good win. It's an entertaining fight. I got dropped in the second round, went down, got back up and knocked him out. But then the October one, the fight was on the 24th. And my mate's anniversary passed away was on the 26th, and then a week before I was in a car crash with my mate on the motorway. So like my back was hurting, stuff like little nibbles, and then I started to overthink that week, and I was overthinking like, will that come into play with this? And then if it weren't for Pit calming me down and making me realise of, no, you've put the work in, you've been out running in the morning, you've been out running it before the sessions, you put the work in the gym, you've done the long hard weight cut, you've done everything right, you'll be fine. And it was like, I've done the job, I've put the work in, just go with it and see what happens.
How do you stay focused with the distractions that come from being a young guy in Manchester?
Well, it's the capital for nights out, it's the capital for drinking, and I'm a big United fan. All my mates are on their away days, and it's just so easy to go down that route. But my family, every single person is boxed in my family, and they've all give up around 18, 19, and they always say to me, once you get that age, you start drinking, girls and stuff like that. And I always remember being young, I was like, that's not going to be me. I'm going to make sure I get to where I want to get to, and I'm 100% confident even now I'm going to get to where I want to get to. And I never thought it would be in Thai boxing. I always thought it was boxing, but you can't control life. And now I'm in Thai boxing, and realistically I'm a novice. Even though I'm starting fresh, I'm starting from experience in a new sport. So I'm 100% confident I'm going to get there, and I just need to stay focused and keep in the gym, keep away from my mates and stuff outside of camp.
You said that you started kicking the bag and you sort of fell in love with it then. Since then, like, how has your love of the sport grown?
It was unreal. So after that fight, I didn't actually go back to the gym. I went into boxing. I had, I think, 2 more fights, and then I started training Thai boxing because the gym was shut over lockdown. And we ended up, there was a fight in February 2020, and I took that and I won. And then in March we were supposed to come over to Thailand, but I was just coming to watch my little cousin and watch the other people in the gym fight, and no one really thought I could do anything. There was like, it's too early for me yet. But then I had that fight, and it was like, right, we want you to fight in the championships over in Thailand. So at that point I didn't even know about Thai boxing. I was like, there's a fight in Thailand, let's take it. I love to fight, like, let's go. I went over and it got called off because of Corona, but when I went over to Thailand and I seen actual Thai boxing, actual gyms, like the respect that's there, how respected the sport is, how everyone conducts themselves, that's when I fell in love with the sport. It was when I actually seen pure Thai boxing, pure skills and flexibility in the body, the way the human body moves. That's when I fell in love with it.
What do you think about getting drawn into a war?
That's something I'm guilty of, 100%, because it's something that's in me. It's like, if you stick it on me, I'm not backing down. But this is where I'm the fighter. If you said to me, there's an A-class fighter, 8-time, 9-time world champion, he's unbeaten, whatever, fight him tomorrow, I'd be like, yeah, let's go, let's fight. But then that's where the brain comes in. We need to get the right fights at the right time, practice different styles. So then, if, for example, I go in a ring and I try to storm through someone and I get a little Thai who's stronger than me, I need to be able to think, right, plan B, plan C. And you never win your A game, so I don't want to be a one-dimensional fighter. But obviously, the last fight I got drawn into a war, and that's something that we have to go back to the drawing board and think, we got the win, but we didn't perform how we set out to perform. There's a lot better of Dylan Sheridan that we know, that we see every day in the gym. You just need to go out and show it, and it'll come over time. How
are you going to try and stay composed and not get drawn into that?
I've been under the spotlight big time twice now, so it's become normal to me now. The first time I was a bit overwhelmed because it's my first C-class fight, and I was on arguably the biggest independent show outside of Thailand. Like, it's massive, and I've walked out and because of lockdown, everyone was at that show because it was the first show back. Everyone was there. There's a couple thousand people, and I'm just this guy in his first fight, walking out from Manchester and seeing my crowd chant "Shez is on fire," and it was just like, wow. But then, because I've been thrown in the deep end, I'm used to the spotlight now. I'm calm and I'm ready for it now, and I enjoy it. Where some people are timid and they get intimidated by the spotlight and stuff, where I thrive with it. I love pressure. I put pressure on me because I like it. I perform better because it's like, you have no choice. When you get to just about to walk out, there's no turning back. It's the point of no return. You've got to step up. There's no other way around it.
So talk to me about joining Kearsley Muay
Thai. So again, that fight, it was on Pete Spencer's show, and it was about 10 minutes. They said, "You're up next, get ready and stuff." But I was just wrapping my hands, just wrapping how I was doing boxing, and at the time this little mad guy was coming around with tape and he's like strapping my hands, and I was like, wow, this is rock solid, I like this. So he caught my eye, and then I seen how he was with his fighters, and he wasn't just someone that was going and getting a ring. He was making sure they're there mentally, he was making sure he was there physically as well, and he was looking after him, he was doing everything properly, and I was like, I like that. And my dad said, he's a good trainer, isn't he? And I was like, yeah, but it was only when I started driving I could get here and put in. So as soon as I started driving, I was here. And then that was only about a year and a half ago. So I've done a year and a half solid, 2 years of solid Thai boxing. So I'm still early in the game. Got many years left with this gym.
So what's Pitt done for you?
He's brought out a side to me that I'd never thought. He's made me believe in myself to the extent where realistically I'm 2 fights in, but I feel like I believe in myself that much. I feel like I'm a champion already. This fight that I'm going into now, people are saying his experience, people are saying, oh, can he like out clinch him, can he do this? And I just believe in myself that much because Pitt's put it into me, installed into me, it's win or win, and put the work in. And he's made me train. I thought I trained hard. He's took it to the next level. He just upped my game in all areas and outside of the ring as well. Just the way I conduct myself outside of the gym, it's just 100% dedication, and that's all through because I know if I get here and I'm not on weight, or if I get here and I'm not running in the times that I'm supposed to, when you're doing your runs, you stood there timing, you're going to get caught out, so there's no choice, it's all or nothing.
Okay, just 2 fights in, what are the next couple of years going to look like for you? I
always said I'm not too bothered about belts, because how many champions you see in Thai boxing, how many do you know? Like the public, they need to be a champion outside of the ring. So in 5 years' time, if I'm at a position where I'm inspiring young kids to jump in the gym, if I've got young kids in Manchester coming up to me and like, doing interviews like this in 10 years saying I started because of Dylan Sheridan and inspiring people around me, then I'll be happy. And no one's really got to this point where I am. From Manchester, so if I can keep going as far as I can go, the sky's not the limit, we're going to go to the top, and I'm going to put the work in and we will get there. We're 2 fights in, but I've got guys like you interviewing me and I'm 2 fights in, so imagine 20, 30 fights in, it's exciting, it's only the start, and that's a scary thing.
How did you get into Muay Thai?
Well, about 13, 14. Getting picked on a lot of bullying going on since year 6, since primary school, went into year 7, year 8, and coming about end of year 8, year 9, my brother, we drove past my dad. It was the old gym with like a scout cabin, and Matthew, my brother, was always like, I want to go. So my dad took us in, we started training with Pitt. He stuck at it, he clicked straight away. I clicked, but I wasn't sure about the competition side of things. Matthew had an inter-club straight away, I had an inter-club. I wasn't going to do it at first, but then when I got there, I thought, I'll do it. So I fought the same lad my brother fought at the inter-club. And about a few months later or something, my brother fought him on one of Pitt's home shows. Then that got me, I wanted to fight them. So I followed him, in his footsteps, went fighting again. And that's where it started really. And then I loved the sport. Ever since I stepped foot in the ring for the first time, that was it. I loved it, loved every minute of it. I just stuck at it ever since.
For someone who's getting picked on and bullied, what did that do for your confidence?
Well, it boosted it quite a bit, to be honest. Not in a big-headed way, but it made me feel like someone who I never used to be. Like, it brought me out instead of just being dead timid and shy all the time. Like, I used to be scared to go into a shop and ask for a bottle of drink. I used to be scared to do stuff like that, and now, ever since I started with Pitt, he's boosted my confidence so much. And then people started watching our videos on YouTube, sparring, you know, everyone at school, coming year 9, year 10, they started realising that we've got talent with it, and then they all wanted to be our best mates then. But that was it really. Confidence just shot straight up.
And what impact did Pitbull have on that?
Massive. It's still got massive impacts on me today. If it weren't for Pip and this gym, like, I just wouldn't have gone down Thai boxing. I wouldn't have done it if it weren't for this gym, because there's no other gyms compare really. I reckon in the whole of the UK there's no other gym that does what Pip does, especially with the younger fighters. I don't think anyone compares to it. He's just a mint coach.
What is that you see specifically Pip doing with younger fighters?
I've always said this since day one. I don't know where he gets the information from, but he's always got new techniques. Even to this date, he's got new techniques for each class. I'm still learning brand new techniques from him. And it's just amazing how many he's got in his head. But when he goes working on shows, glove running, reffing, judging, he's watching different people. Even like the A-class fights, he's watching them and he's picking different techniques up off them. And he'll talk to them about it, he'll come here and he'll teach us. And then the kids get it taught. And it's just, every kid in this gym have got, the technique's unreal. It's just out of the world, and no other kid has got the same technique. It's just unbelievable, the technique we've got.
And what does he expect from you?
He expects quite a lot, because obviously he's brought us up from a young age. So he expects us to be respectful, and you know, even when training's going hard, stick at it, because he understands. He used to fight himself a few years back, and he knows it's hard to stick out when you've got, you know, hard weight cut, or you know, you're not mentally ready for it, or you know, you're just not in your feeling for the, you know, training one night. He'll push you, and he'll keep pushing you until obviously the fight comes and you realise there's nothing to worry about. He keeps pushing, and he expects, like, he loves watching us, win or lose. As long as we do what he's taught us to do, he's not bothered for win, lose, draw.
What does it mean to you, win, lose or draw?
When I first started fighting, obviously I had my first junior fight, won that against a lad who had about 6 to 8 fights, and it's my first ever fight, so I won that. And then my second fight was against a local lad from Bury. I got beat because there was a massive height difference, and it was just one of them, a bad day. But I come out of the ring, and as the adrenaline died down, I realised I'd been beat, and I felt a bit, you know, a bit shit to be honest. But then as I've got older, now when I get beat, it's like a lesson. Like, I know why I've been beat. Like, I've had a couple of losses now. Josh Shaw, was a major fighter. He's gone to the Navy or something now. But that was a big fight for me. You know, that was my biggest step up I've had, from going from N class wearing shin pads to fighting Josh Shaw with no shin pads. It was like, the pressure's on me. It was our home show, so it was easy to beat the pressure then, but I knew I had to beat him to get my name up there, because he's a big fighter, well-known fighter. And it was literally like the split second in round 5, he kneed me back once, and that's what gave it away. And it's from that day I've realised, don't give up until the bell goes. Don't start slacking, just keep going your all throughout the fight. But ever since I've started, I got beat by him, got beat by a Belgian lad on one of Pete Spencer's barns, the Super Shows. That was just a bad day. My head wasn't in it at all. I turned up with no motivation to fight that day. Don't know what it was, but I went in there, gave it my best go, and ended up getting an 8 count. And then that fight obviously went to the judges, but obviously lost. And then they're the 2 losses I've only had from C class up until obviously my next fight, which is A class. I've only had 2 losses and 1 draw, but it's always in the back of my mind. I don't want to feel that loss again, but that's what keeps me motivated to win. That's all. It's
I won't say unusual, but it's pretty rare for someone to be so honest and reflective about their losses like that. It shows a certain strength and maturity and mindset.
Yeah.
How have you developed a strong mindset?
Through Pit.
Yeah.
It's through the gym. Honestly, it is. I was always that kid where, like, before I started the gym, didn't go out much, but when I did it was just like childish things, and you know, just messing around. But then when I come to the gym, it was like over the years, when I was still young, 13, 14, 15, I was still quite immature. But then when I turned 16, I started fighting headshots and that. Pete started telling me, obviously, about discipline and stuff. You need to have respect. I was always respectful to older people anyway, from a young age, but the things Pete taught me, the things no one else ever could, with respect-wise and stuff like that.
Can you talk me about your experience at Super Showdown?
Super Showdown, it was a really good show, really good. The atmosphere hasn't changed much from Yokkao. Nothing's changed in that perspective of things. It's still a really well-known show. Everyone still knows about it. If anything, I reckon the exposure for Super Show is a little bit better on regarding the undercard and stuff like that, and the undercard fighters and stuff, because Yokkao, even though it's obviously, everyone knows it, it's a great show, everyone wants to be on it, everyone's like that with Super Show now, everyone wants to be on that, but Yokkao didn't seem to, they paid attention to the undercard, but it was like the main card got all the focus, and it only seems after lockdown really, for the undercard the room was filled, whereas normally I fought on the undercard first on the card, and it was nowhere near as full as it was at Super Show, because the card is that packed with every fighter's talented, top fighters in the UK, all around the world. Everyone wants to see it from start to finish. So Super Show is just one of them amazing shows where everyone wants to be on. Everyone's going on about it, everyone's banging on about it, all over social media. Go on Facebook, Super Show posts everywhere, Instagram's the same. Massive, massive show.
How do you not feel overwhelmed in that situation?
I don't know, it just come with time really. Like, my first fight on the big show like that was Yokkao, and it was quite overwhelming. You know, it felt I had a lot of pressure on me walking out in front of all them people, but I was calm. I was really just chilled out. Walked to the ring, the bell went. I don't care about who's watching. It's me and my opponent. That's it. Listen to Pit. Do what I've got to do. That's it. And then when you get out the ring, that's when you go and see people, do your talking. But before fights and that, I don't see anyone for that reason. I don't want to get overwhelmed with everyone. I don't want to get, dead. I feel like I've got a lot of pressure put on me. With everyone saying, oh, you better beat him, you've got to beat him, you've got to do this, got to do that. I'd rather just stay upstairs and change the room, or just sit with Pit and my brother, and Dylan, and just chill out, start time, until the fight.
And when you're actually in there and doing it, are you enjoying it at that moment?
Yeah, 100%. Enjoying it all the way through, rounds 1 to 5. The only times I've actually felt like I've not enjoyed it is either I've been really unfit, because I haven't done as much training as I was supposed to have done, I haven't gone running when I was supposed to have done. But I've still enjoyed it, it's just your fitness starts, it's a heavy paced fight as well. You're just starting to think, how am I going to last 5 rounds? I've got 1 more round to do with this, how am I going to cope with that? But ever since my last fight, I've trained properly, I've put all the effort in, all the hard work, dedication goes into it.
Now you're fighting A-class, firstly, does that affect your training? And secondly, does it affect your mindset?
It doesn't affect my mindset. I see it as a fight. Nothing's changing in that sort of thing. The only thing it does change is the training, like you just said. I'll have to maybe do more hill sprints, more runs, more frequent runs, because obviously it's a different level. It's not 5.5 anymore, it's 5 3-minute rounds. So you've got to prepare yourself for that long duration of a fight, because it could go on 1 round. It's good, but if it goes on a full 5 rounds, you've got to be mentally and physically prepared for those 5 rounds. Because if you're not prepared for that, and you go in there thinking, oh, I'll knock him out in round 1, I'm not fit enough for that, and you don't knock him out in round 1, your head's going to go, because it's not as explosive as N class, C class and B class. You've got to actually sit the fight out, and it's a slow paced fight now. It's not a rush to hurt each other anymore, it's just a, picking shots off, waiting for the right moment, because if you go in there all guns blazing, you're going to get caught in an elbow, or a knee to the head, or a stupid kick to the head, what will knock you out. Even though you could be a lot better than that person, all it takes is a little tap, and you've ruined it because you've gone rushing in.
And my final question is, what are your ambitions for the next couple of years?
Hopefully get a few more shots at A-class on the Super Showdown, maybe fight abroad somewhere, A-class. But at the moment, I'm just going to keep training hard. After this fight, probably have a couple of weeks off, then I'll be straight back in the gym again, training hard. Any fight what comes my way, I'll take it. Not bothered who it is. I'll fight anyone really. Don't really like picking and choosing fights. Never have done, I never will. Pitt knows that. He's never said, we don't want to fight, we'll fight him. But as you know, there's a lot of gyms out there who can't hack being beat. So they'll always say, no, we'll fight him, we'll beat him, we'll fight him. But we just, if anyone says, say Pete Spencer, Brian Calder, rings Pitt and say, will Alex fight on Super Show? Pitt will say yeah, he'll speak to me, I'll say yeah, let's do it, A-class, whatever. And then they might not even know who it is until a week after, and Pitt's, oh yeah, it's this person. Yeah, no worries, fight him, not bothered. Because as long as I've got Pitt training me, it's all going to go good.